Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
We're back and we are live as hell. We live.
I'm Spencer, and of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist and runner of the mouth.
They like to call me preacher man.
They like to call me a jabberjaw. I don't know what that means.
Jabberjaw. Hey, I was putting on this damn trailer hitch a minute ago on the truck, and my head's so big that I was able to brace the fucking 200-pound trailer hitch with my head while I was screwing it in.
Yeah, it's like a sack of potatoes, I tell you.
Straight up. Yeah, I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, it's probably not good putting 200 pounds on your head, but hey, you know what?
Nope.
We live to fight another day.
I was actually
Right?
using my jaw, my chin. My dad said, "You're gonna be real good at something after this."
Well,
let's get to the show. I'm Dr. Nas, people.
Bananas in the mouth. All right. Anyways, remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
Don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, today we are going to be talking about the movie The Holdovers, featuring Paul Giamatti. Yes, the great and apparently crooked-eyed Paul Giamatti. Also in there was Divine Joy Randolph, who actually won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in a film. Yes, clap it up for Divine. Yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at that. Some topics we're going to be covering are just kind of what the needs are for schools, apparently. We have a scene for that. Yeah. You thought you weren't going to talk. You thought we were going to talk about just mental health? Nope. Talking about academics.
You got to learn.
Thank you. We're also going to be talking about how terrible white people can be.
You know. And if I said it once, I said it again.
And I say it over and over and over.
Oh, no. It.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a great sentence.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to be talking about like mourning loss in there as well, teaching about philosophy, and then how the past can explain the present, and also kind of, how we aren't each other's parents.
Nope.
No, we are our own people.
Own people. We the
So,
people.
with that, anything before we get into the show.
We've got a lot to talk about, but we're gonna maybe go quick over scenes. I don't know. We'll see what Jesus takes us. Obviously, folks, we're going to talk about autism in here because this character is very autistic coded. We will get into some racial things as well. Like Spence said, some grief as her son dies in the war. Pop up. And my favorite scene is the one at the very end where he's sitting down talking to him, and he's like therapizing just like I would. You know, your voice changes. They tell you the sob story, and you start to gas him up. But you lead in with a few jabs too. You're like, you're a piece of shit, and I hate you. But like, you're a good kid. You got talent, kid. You
got talent, but you're an asshole.
You got talent. You're probably not going to make it in life, but you might as well try.
Try to not make it. All right.
Don't worry about your IRA. Just spend your money. You're going to die. So we're going to get into some really good, juicy topics. Very good scenes for folks to visualize, to maybe heal from, and also to laugh at. So we're going to talk about autism. Let's get into it. Let's crack our pipes. Get to smoking. Not a crack pipe, but like, you
literally just put the words
crack,
smoke, and pipe all in the same sentence.
Yep. Well,
you're a dumbass.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Jesus.
Oh, yes, I know a couple of these reprobates.
Let's be a little more elastic in our assessment, shall we? It's hard enough for them to be away from home on the holidays.
Latitude is the last thing these boys need.
Paul, at your core, you're an excellent teacher. But your approach to the students is rather traditional.
The school was founded in 1797. I thought tradition was our stock in trade.
Then let's call it hidebound. Unwavering, resistant to...
Yes. I know what hidebound means. I get it. You're still angry that I failed Jordan Osgood.
Senator Osgood was very upset when Princeton rescinded Jordan's acceptance, yes. And I've continued to have to deal with the fallout.
Hardy, are we really supposed to let these boys just skate by as long as Daddy builds a new gymnasium?
Of course not. That's not who we are. But we can't be ignorant of politics.
That boy is too dumb to pour piss out of a boot. A genuine troglodyte.
Jesus Christ, Paul. He was a legacy and the son of one of our biggest donors. Ever think his dad might be expecting a little consideration for his dollar?
And he got it. A first-class education for his son. Oh, come on, Hardy. As Dr. Green used to say, our one true purpose is to produce young men of good character.
I don't care what Dr. Green used to say.
And we cannot sacrifice our integrity on the altar of their entitlement. I'm just trying to instill basic academic discipline. That's my job, isn't it yours?
It was. Until I became headmaster and saw that it's not so simple to keep the damn school afloat. I begged you to give the kid a C-.
There are instructors here who will do that. I am not one of them.
Here's the manual and a full set of keys. Everything you need to know is in there. Your only task is to ensure the boy's absolute safety and good condition. And at least pretend to be a human being. Please. It's Christmas.
Lovely. Thank you, Mary.
Didn't we already have this for lunch?
And it was crappy then.
Consider yourselves lucky. During the Third Punic Campaign, 149 to 146 BC, the Romans laid siege to Carthage for 3 entire years. By the time it ended, the Carthaginians were reduced to eating sand and drinking their own urine. Hence the term punitive. Mary, maybe you would care to join us?
No, I'm all right. Thank you. I mean, I know she's sad about her son and everything, but still, she's getting paid to do a job. And she should do it well, right? But I guess no matter how bad a cook she is, now they can never fire her.
Will you shut up? You have no idea what that woman has been through. You know, Mr. Kuntz, for most people, life is like a henhouse ladder, shitty and short. You were born lucky. Maybe someday you entitled little degenerates will appreciate that. If you don't, I feel sorry for you. And we will have failed to do our jobs. Now, eat. Like antiquity.
In class, maybe, but I never think about it unless I need to.
Ah, well, here. What do you see?
I don't know. Bunch of pottery.
Look at that one.
It's candy cane.
Yes. There's nothing new in human experience, Mr. Tully. Each generation thinks it invented debauchery or suffering or rebellion, but man's every impulse and appetite, from the disgusting to the sublime, is on display right here, all around you. So, before you dismiss something as boring or irrelevant, remember, if you truly want to understand the present or yourself, you must begin in the past. You see, history is not simply the study of the past, it is an explanation of the present.
See, when you say it that way, and throw in some pornography, it's a lot easier to understand.
Okay.
You should try doing more of that in class and less yelling. You know, most of the kids dislike you, pretty much hate you. Teachers, too. You know that, right?
People don't understand. This isn't 10-pin. Oh, see, it's much harder. All these 10-pin assholes coming in here like they're slumming it. The hell with them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Excuse me. Here's something I bet you didn't know. Your uniform, festive as it is historically inaccurate. Saint Nicholas of Myra was actually a 4th century Greek bishop from what is now Turkey. So a robe and sandals would be closer to the mark. But I guess that would be impractical given the weather and all the silly but lucrative mythology about Santa and elves and reindeer and chimneys and whatnot. What can you do? As Democritus said, o cosmos eliosis, o vios hypolipsis. World is decay, life is perception.
He used to be fine. He's better than fine. He was great. He was my dad. Then about 4 years ago, he started acting strange. Erratic, forgetful, saying all this weird shit. My mom took him to a bunch of doctors and put him on medication, but that just made it worse. He got more confused. Then he got angry. And then he got physical. That was it. That was the last straw. They put him away. And she divorced him. Without him even realizing it. That's why she wants a whole new life. It's It's easy to just stash me away in boarding school. Like half of us are just stashed away there. And I get it. She never has to look at me. Because maybe when she looks at me, she sees him.
No. That can't be true. You're her son.
Maybe she's right. I can't keep it together. I lie, I steal. I piss people off. I don't have any friends, real friends. I'll probably get kicked out of Barton too, and when I do, it'll be my own fault. Get sent to Fork Union and maybe to you-know-where. And nobody will care. The funny thing is, I wanted to seem so bad this whole time. But I also didn't, you know? So I'm afraid that's what's gonna happen to me one day.
No, Angus, listen. You're not your father.
How do you know?
Because no one is his own father. I'm not my dad, no matter how hard he tried to beat that idea into me. I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me. I think you and I have this in common. But don't get me wrong, you have your challenges. You're erratic and belligerent and a gigantic pain in the balls, but you're not your father. You're your own man. Man, no. You're just a kid. You're just beginning. And you're smart. You've got time to turn things around. Yes, I know. The Greeks had the idea that the steps you take to avoid your fate are the very steps that lead you to it, but that's just a literary conceit. In real life, your history does not have to dictate your destiny. Oh, there's Mary.
Can you not tell Mary or anybody about...
Entre nous. This whole goddamn trip is entre nous. Stand up.
What?
Stand up for the lady, you boor. Cretin.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
After that unusual break, we're back again.
We're back. And we're live. WWKZZD. Living it heavy and greasy.
ZZ. What does that stand for? ZZ. What? Zamboni dick.
Oh my God. We're back and we're live.
ZZD. You're a fucking idiot.
We're alive. You know, I'm driving the truck. Everyone behind the trailer hitch, they're not gonna be alive. So we they not alive. Final destination.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a part in Final Destination where people do make it out alive, and they're like, "What the fuck happened back there? That's you."
Yep. Hold the door. Hold the door.
Hold the door.
Jesus, sad scene there. Hold door. Hold the door. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a really good twist there. I'm not gonna lie.
That was traumatic. Shout out to Game
The
of Thrones.
writers were just on another fucking level when they wrote that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Who wrote Game of Thrones? Bobby Shmurda?
Bobby Shmurda. What? That makes sense.
Why'd you die? Oh man.
All right,
Let's get to the show.
All right, people. So
back to the topic at hand. We're doing the Holdovers, all right, which is on Peacock at the time being. So that's the only place you can get it, honestly, I think. And Peacock.
You can get it
That's the
anytime.
only place you can get that holdover.
You can get it anytime, anywhere.
Anytime, anywhere. Salutations.
WWZZ the D. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. I need to shut up.
Anyways, so Holdovers is pretty much all about this teacher who has to babysit these 5 students while because there's Christmas break and there are people that have nowhere else to go, so they have to stay at the school. And one of the technically punishments for a teacher is staying over and having to babysit these kids.
Yep.
That's pretty much the gist of it. But there's also, a unlikely partnership when it comes to um, Paul and Angus, who dislike each other. I mean, I think every student dislikes Paul in this, as we see in one of the clips. Um, but, we'll get to why in a bit. We'll get to why. So, Nas, right off the bat, right? I thought as soon as I watched the movie, I was like, God, we gotta do that, right? Brought it to you, and you're like, I don't get this. I don't understand. But then once you watched it, you're like, holy shit, this is actually a really good movie, and there's a lot of deep topics into it. What'd you think about the Holdovers?
You know,
Okay, yeah,
I had to let it fester. I had to let it smear over me
you saying it.
like a baked potato.
That's just your goal in life,
yeah.
to be a baked potato.
A baked potato. As Spencer said, I watched it, I think during spring break. And first I was like, what the fuck? This is boring as shit. Like, it's just a bunch of privileged ass white kids. I think that's why I was getting so mad too. It's like, I don't give a fuck about these kids. Right? It's just, oh great, more stories about super rich kids, that's struggling during school, but you start to watch it, you already know that the old curmudgeon, the old dusty white dude, the old dusty autistic white dude, right? We've seen this story over and over. The autistic coded like curmudgeon. What do you call the one dude?
Cretin.
Yeah, cretin. He called him something else in there too. I was like, Jesus. Eventually it softens and you get to see the humanity in him. I really loved it at the end, right? It comes like full circle at the end, this love relationship, the pedagogy, the teaching, the mentorship. The young man, you see his story. They're not rich. Mom marries some rich dude after his dad has dementia and pretty much loses all his beans, which is really fucked up. Getting kicked out of everywhere, isolated, alone, sad as shit. It's actually kind of a sad story. And then she goes through her traumas with losing her son, being a black woman, working for all these white folk. And they're racist as shit. It's a magnificent movie. So I really enjoyed it. It just took a little bit of time to like sit with me.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of slow movies to where sometimes with these movies, especially for me, I kind of have to watch it twice to really, you know, really kind of feel it, I guess. Because sometimes they're just so slow, but they really hit on the dialogue here. I really loved how they did it.
The writing was good.
Yes, it was very good. So shout out to the writers of this movie. They did a great job.
For real.
Great job. Yes. So the first scene that we're going to do is from pretty much like the beginning of the movie. Paul failed a student who had like a donor parent, very rich parent, and he pretty much failed him because he was a like the kid was a dumbass.
Yeah.
He was just a dumbass, and then went on to become like a senator. So, guess that shows that you don't really have to be smart. You just gotta know people to really make it in life.
You ain't even gotta be born pretty. You just need money.
That's all I needed.
That's all you need.
Damn. All right. But so I picked this scene because I felt that we always have maybe this argument, maybe within ourselves when it comes to like our bosses, when it comes to like, yeah, I failed a student because he was a dumbass. What was I supposed to do? And then you have the headmaster's point of view of being like, well, I need the school and we need the school to actually make it through financially,
Yep.
or else all these students are going to have to go somewhere else. You can kind of see that, and you can sympathize with it. But I think we all kind of want to be Paul in some instances, right? We want to be the person that's just like blunt, and sometimes we are that person, and that gets us in trouble sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because then that's not the PC way of handling a certain situation, uh, which I understand, but at the same time, it's like it's a school. Aren't we supposed to have people be the best students
Yeah.
here? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that why they pay a lot of money to be here? It's because they want the best education and not just a free ride through school and life. Things to ponder. Things to
Yep.
yeah. Naz, kind of want to get your take on the scene since I brought it up. Just kind of want to see what you thought when you first watched it.
Uh, you see his like, again, as this old dusty old man, this kind of black and white. This is the way I do it. It's my way or the highway. I'm an educator. I'm an educator. I'm an educator.
Mhm.
And you're like, man, fuck this guy. But then you listen to his story and he's like, no, man, kid didn't do nothing in class. He's a complete fucking idiot. He said he got a world-class education. Don't mean I got to pass his ass.
Mhm.
He doesn't care about legacies. He doesn't care about that and the money and finances, right? He's a faculty. He doesn't care about the money. And then also you start to realize that he doesn't come from a lot of privilege either. That he's had a very hard life and it sounds like an abusive, poor life. And then he goes to the big schools and he's super bright and intelligent, has a magnificent memory, and things just don't shake out his way. You see where he gets shamed later on by like a friend that used to go to the same school as him. Like, what are you doing? And he just lies. And he said, I think he said, warped men or something like that don't ever lie. And he's like, you just lied your ass off. And so you see him sticking to his morals and his guns, but you also see some of that hatred towards the privileged, even though he's teaching the privileged. It's a very interesting thing. I actually see myself, obviously, in him being kind of like ethically bound and moral, but not necessarily about that. You're working in higher ed, or he's working in this boarding school, and you kind of hate it. And you kind of feel like a betrayal of people that you could be helping that are more at risk or more in need or more impoverished. Maybe a little bit more black and brown. But you're helping out all these other kids. They got money. A lot of them rich as shit. Right? They could, and I didn't sign up for this. And you feels like a deep betrayal of what you started your career for. And I could see some of that same pain and turmoil in him because he hates his students. Right? They're lazy. They're ungrateful. Right? Privileged. Everything. Silver spoon. Talking shit. Racist. Right? He's very respecting. Very respectful. Right? He treats everyone like shit. Not the staff. Treats staff magnificent. Everyone on staff, he treats them wonderful. So like, I kind of relate to this dude. You know, you're doing your thing and you love it, but then also you kind of hate it. It's a weird place to be, Spence. So that's why I thought about it. I could have went down the autism route on this, but I decided to pivot.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that are in these spaces, a lot of autistic folks, a lot of folks of color that are in spaces where they could be using their skills somewhere that could be more impactful. Not saying that my students and clients don't have issues. I'm not saying that, but there's folks that have more. This is going to come off a little weird, but they get me? You mean to tell me this kid that's got everything, and then they get me as a counselor, a badass counselor that can get you from point A to point B quickly. You get me. I kind of don't like that sometimes. I wish that some of the other kids. That's why I really liked St. Mary's, man. I work with a lot of underprivileged kids, man, compared to the school here. And don't get it twisted. I get a lot of magnificent kids here too, but St. Mary's, it was a higher rate of black and brown students, athletes, students with different traumas, socioeconomic issues. That's what I thought of. I thought of the betrayal of myself. What am I doing? Kind of the hostility and anger, and then telling all the people to fuck off. I have a standard. I set my standard. I go by that standard.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people feel that way in their jobs. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because that's the thing that we really haven't talked about is this dilemma, this ethical dilemma in your workplace. Spencer kind of talked about it too. This dilemma of how do you act? How do you carry yourself? What's the PC way? What's the neurotypical way versus the kind of spectrum movie? Like, no, be stupid.
Yeah.
Right. You know, someone else would have been like, well, you know, Johnny, you know, we tried with Johnny. And then, you know, no, fuck Johnny.
I just couldn't give him the grade. No. Fail.
Yeah.
C-. No.
He said the boy couldn't piss. The boy couldn't pour piss out of a boot.
He couldn't pour piss out of a boot.
Damn.
That's just a burn.
Yeah, that's a burn.
That's an educated burn.
Bro, he got some zingers, bro. He got them autistic burns. He got them fucking 3rd degrees. Yeah. It's a good scene.
I think also, do you feel like in a way that you're not being as challenged as you could, not just like with work, but just like with overall how you feel on a day-to-day basis? Do you feel like you're getting challenged like that, or
yes and no, depends. I have some clients that do challenge me and it's magnificent. I have some clients that I admire and love deeply,
which, you know, you're probably going to get anyways no matter where you go, right?
Yep.
So
I think the thing is that you get kind of comfortable and content doing the same old thing over and over. It's time for a change. But also, I'm scared to move on and go to do these other things because it could be really hard on me mentally. Because when you go work for your people, with your people, I've had a high influx of black and brown students in the last 2 months. And it's just challenging, bro. It's magnificent. But boy, when you see someone that look like your mama or your cousin, and you know, it's just interesting. They got the same mannerisms as your family, right? And friends. It gets interesting.
Right.
The dissociation and separation for a therapist between someone that looks completely different from them, completely different gender and all that, you can segregate the emotions. But when they start looking like your people, talking like your people, there's a little bit more love, a little bit more connection, a lot more protectiveness. And when I get protective, you know, sometimes it can get weird for me because I'll either get overstimulated and angry or like super sad. So I have to continue working on my breathing regulation, make sure that I'm not sympathetic and like, oh, they're screwed, and stay in empathy where I'm just caring for them. So it's a complex thing when you've been doing a job for so long. Yeah.
But I would also say with that, you also have a chance to be that sympathetic and not be like other therapists where they're just kind of robotic and getting straight to the point. You kind of have to have that fine line of like emotion, but then also being theoretical in that too.
You got to be emotional, but then you also got to have your brain on and your intelligence on to intellectualize, right? To philosophize, to therapize. It's an interesting duality that all therapists have. Be nice to your therapist, folks.
Yeah.
Be nice. I'm not saying you need to care for their feelings and all that shit, but just, you know, don't be no asshole to them. They got to listen to probably 6, 7 of you bastards at a time every day. And when you get a therapist that actually remembers you, your stories, they bring up things from the past, that's a good one. You got a really good one. Now, when they keep asking the same shit over and over, they're either completely burned out, they got too many clients, or there's something going on in their life. Doesn't mean that they're a piece of shit, but you might need to switch to another one or talk about it with your therapist. Like, so you don't remember a goddamn thing.
Yep, say it just like that.
Yeah.
Go over well.
How many fucking times you gonna call me Tommy? The name Bob.
I'm Billy.
My name Billy Bob.
I'm Billy Bob.
So that's all. Just be kind to your therapist. But if you find one that is paying attention, that is super intuitive, that's asking you questions, let's do it. Bro, this is random. Story time. Client comes in, blah, 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 a bunch of stuff, issues we're working on, emotional regulation, super masculine, the individual, woman. And the funny thing is they go, how do I win therapy? We didn't set no goals last week. I need to win. And I'm like, huh? Who? Like, okay, so we did set some goals and we did a lot of work and figuring out what's actually wrong. And it was up to you to go home and think about the shit and then come back to me to see if I was wrong or not to confirm I was right. And then I told you we were going to work on these 3 different things. Did you work on the 3 different things? No. You didn't do the fucking goal. So the goal is to work on emotional regulation, but the goal is to also back away from perfectionism, to back away from this masculinity that allows you to be in control all the time and to never let people see you vulnerable. That's the thing that's suffocating you. That's the thing that's deregulating you. That's the thing that's neurologically fucking up your whole system. And so it's interesting when people go, I need to win therapy. At the end of the session, Spence, I said, you want to figure out how you win therapy with me? Don't be a piece of shit. Yeah. Be nice to people. Be kind to people, especially for this individual. I said, especially the black and brown individuals, just be nice. I said, I'm always nice. I said, okay.
Sure.
I lean in. Yeah. Be a good person. I'm putting all this shit into you. Be a good person. Don't make me waste this on you. Okay.
Well, with that's a good transition to the next scene.
There you go.
Second scene. It's the dinner scene, right? So we have all the holdovers. They they're all having dinner, and then one of them got punished for stealing a picture. I think that was the reason why.
Or was it beating up that boy, throwing that boy's glove? It was something. He did something stupid.
He did some stupid, some white. I don't know. But can't remember. But then obviously you have Mary, who also stayed behind. She's a cafeteria lady who also lost her son in the Vietnam War. And so she stayed behind as well. And now she's serving them dinner. And one of the things that they were complaining about was that it was like the same food again, which is like, of course it is, because
They got nothing.
yeah, they got nothing because you're on Christmas break. They don't expect people to stay.
They don't even have heat in all the buildings. They're living in an infirmary.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, of course, one privileged mother just had to go. Hey, like, well, there are people like she won't get fired, I guess, because they won't get fired. Affirmative action, probably. I'm assuming he's going for there. Um, and of course, Paul just goes off on him and tells him that you have no idea what the fuck she's going through because you're just some privileged motherfuckers. So, um, I love this scene
Yes.
because he went off on him, and then also, um, I liked it because I like the subtle racism that this kid kind of goes off because
Yep.
you don't get to see that too often. Usually we see a lot of like blunt racism happening, just like calling them N-word and calling them like all different types of names and all that stuff. But with this one, it's a lot more subtle, just
Yep.
being like, well, they can't fire them because, whatever. Um, and it also, I love the fact that Paul is just he not only he goes off on him, but he goes off on the rest of them, even though they weren't saying or doing anything, and they were kind of looking at the other kid like, "Dude, what are you talking? Like you're an asshole. The hell." But at the same time, he also wanted to have that lesson of being like, "Don't forget that all of you are also privileged as well, and that you come from backgrounds that you have no idea what she's going through either." I thought that was a cool lesson, also in that moment too. Um, and then shut up and eat your food.
He said,
So
I forgot this thing that he said. It's like life is shit, or it's like a shit going down the ladder. Something with shit going down the ladder.
Yeah, it's like a chicken coop ladder. It's short and has shit on it, or
Yeah.
something like that.
It's like life is short and super hard for a lot of people. And the way he looks at that boy and just, shut up. Completely overstimulated, not taking any bullshit. You're done. You full autism meltdown right there for me. You ain't disrespecting no one in front of me. You ain't saying shit in front of me. I would have did worse with that boy. I would have marched his ass into that lady and you gonna go apologize, little bitch. And so I think it's awesome that he's teaching these kids manners. I think that you're right. He's talking about folks being privileged, but he's doing it in a way where he's trying to build empathy. He's trying to show these boys, do you not understand what she's done and how hard she's worked? She's worked at this school for so long. Her son went to this school because of like tuition reimbursement and all that. And then what happens? He gets drafted into the war because he can't get no job because he's black.
Yeah.
And then he dies. And you got some nerve to say
most of those
anything.
kids probably should have been drafted as well, but because they have parents who are rich and they're in school, they didn't have to.
Correct. And so it's a little educational thing right there. And he lays it down and he stands up for his homie, his friend. And it was magnificent. The way he articulates himself, the way he verbally assaults people. It is the Hannibal Lecter of delicatessens. Delicatessens. Let me go ahead and cut you off at the knees.
It's never good when you're quoting Hannibal Lecter and you're like, I like it. I like how you say that.
Yeah, I chop his ass up. We make it enchiladas.
All ass. Enchiladas.
All ass. Shout out to the individuals that do this, that hold people in check or in line about certain things that are safe enough to do it. I was recently talking to one of the homies when we were in Detroit, and homie's like, and I'm like, here we go. As soon as you hear that, and he just starts going off. And I get it. Dude's like conservative, Republican. I mean, it is what it is, man. I get it. Fucking hates Joe Biden. I'm like, I fucking hate Joe Biden. Then he starts going off on like queer individuals, specifically trans. And so we just had a really good trans discussion. And I had to explain a lot of the pronouns, different things, and how the media is overblowing shit too. And I was like, don't fall for this propaganda, man. You're falling for it. We're like, relax, chill. So we did a lot of groundwork. And I could have went in hot and heavy on his ass. Like, no, let's teach. Like, this is my boy, good person. Let's teach. So that way he don't say something stupid to some other bigot, and then they're just like gassing and fueling each other up. I think a lot of people will just go with things, but I felt it was going like a weird direction. If you're making some jokes, but it's like harmless, but you're being sarcastic, I know a lot of people don't agree with that. But if you do, like, I'll let something slide. But like, this is like the hard R like version of like transphobia, homophobia. And I was like, it's just not going to happen in my car, homie. And so I just enjoy people that have these conversations that are difficult and check people on like different type of privileges. No knock if you got, I'm privileged as fuck. A nice house, car, money, RA. Like it's okay to say you're privileged, man. It's not hard. Doesn't mean that you suck.
No. Yeah. Just that you've had it easier than others. And that's okay.
Or you currently have it easy, right? Because I didn't have it easy before, but now I currently have it easy.
Yeah, you've had it easy all your life.
I did.
You did. You did. You were fucking, you're playing around, chilling.
I was.
It wasn't going through any type of traumatizing events.
I wasn't going through nothing. It was fine. I took my beatings like a champ.
Yeah.
The scars. Again, magnificent scene. This movie is so well written. And the acting, you said the young man, this was his first acting gig, Angus.
Yeah. He has like other credits, but it's like nothing like feature length film.
Yep.
This is like his first big movie. And so, he was picked out of one of 12 people in this school to actually play this character, and he won it, and you see why.
He can lay it down, boy. I loved it.
Yeah.
Let's skedaddle. Let's skedaddle on over to scene 3.
Okay. Scene 3. So during this whole thing, Paul and Angus start getting along, because in the first half of the movie they just can't stand each other. But then they're slowly starting to actually get to like one another and things like that. And so Paul takes Angus to a museum, and then we have this scene where it's just talking about how the past can sometimes actually replicate in the future and in the present. It's always there, and he's trying to teach him this moment. He's having a very philosophical moment with him, um, which I think we could all agree that the professors that really get us to think and relate it back to where we are now, it's probably some of the best professors out
Yep.
there. Um, like philosophy, even if you're teaching math, I think you can always be philosophical and teach in different ways, instead of just,
Practical.
like you said, yeah, practical, and then also not just yelling or just being passive about your teaching. You can see the passion, and that Paul really loves teaching. So,
You see it? I wanted to do this scene
yes.
because it's funny. Because there's a way to go about things in life. You don't always have to be this bookworm. You don't always have to be the epitome of whiteness.
Mhm.
So some knucklehead the other day we added on the Instagram, and it was called the Uncensored Therapist or some shit like that. I don't know, stupid name.
Yeah.
But they're a magnificent individual, funny as shit. They just got done watching Blank Man. They said from now on, if you're ever going to suggest anything for new guests to watch, have them watch that. I said okay. I said Dr. Funnings is awesome. They said yeah, y'all are hilarious too. And she said she was cracking up on the treadmill. And there's a way to go about teaching or pedagogy, being a professor. There's a way to do it and make it super relatable, man, where it's a conversation. You know, my boys at the office, they be like, Nas, if anyone can get through to the kids, it's going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and he was being real careful because I'm like, yeah, what you about to say, motherfucker? You about to say I'm ignorant, ain't you? Mm-hmm. He's like, you got a way at talking to people and getting all the information and therapizing them, but in this very casual like dialogue where you're just hanging out. It's you just hanging out with a kid, and then all of a sudden they get therapy. I'm like, yeah. Watch out for the funny guy. Motherfucker will get you. That funny motherfucker will get you, boy. I tell you. I get your guard down. We have a conversation, but I'm like, dude, when I'm in there, I am like grilling people with questions. Like it's fucking Tommy gun questions. Yes. And there's not a lot of accuracy too. It's straight up Tommy gun. You're just fucking spraying. If you were a letter, what letter would you be? Kid's like, what?
A Q.
7.
7. Apostrophe.
Yep. And this is what's funny because he walks there in the museum and he said, hey man, what's that right there? The kid looks at it. He said, it's 2 people having sex. We'll go ahead and pause the podcast real quick.
Here we go.
Dad.
Uh-oh.
It's okay to talk about sex because we all have it. We all want it.
We all have it, huh?
Well, I ain't having it, but I want to.
I'm trying.
I not feel like I have it.
Hello, Bessie. How you doing?
Oh my God. Put that thing down, man. Put it down.
You're feeling good today.
So how funny is that, right? He breaks the issues with this kid just by bringing up some humor, man. And next thing you know, now the kid's like willing to listen.
Yeah.
Like, soon as I swear in the room, because you feel out the vibe real quick, but as soon as you swear, you just see them breathe, like their shoulders drop. And like, oh, they're like, oh, I can fuck with Nas. Everyone comes in there really tense. I promise you, dude, as soon as I swear, everyone's chill. I'm like, okay, now we can do the real work. And so his way of going about teaching is magnificent. So now let's get to the meat of what he said. This representation of, I thought he was going to say, like, be in the moment. Like, the past is the past. Don't be in the past. Don't be in the future. But he said, no, the past is literally the predictor, is the explanation of the now. So you always say you need to know your history. Why? Because history always repeats itself. So if you don't know your history, then you're lost in the current now. You're forever going to repeat the same mistakes. And so don't get it twisted now. He's not saying stay in the past. He's just saying you should know your history.
Yeah.
Because it will help you compute what's in front of you. That's why people come to therapy, Spence. Because they're missing some stuff and they're not connecting the dots of what their past was, the intricacies, the traumas, the perfectionism, the middle child, the eldest child, right? The single parent, they adopted. Who knows? They ain't good. They're super bougie and privileged. There's so many different complexities that can fuck with a kid. And then they come to my office and I'm like, oh, there it is. And the kid's like, what? This Chicana said the other day, it was beginning of the semester, I said, man, my last therapist sucked. I said, hey, well, why? I didn't realize until I met you. I said, what happened? She said, the way you psychoanalyzed me was the craziest shit, and I've been through a decent amount of therapy. I said, okay. Sometimes I just throw some shit at the wall and then kind of see what happens when I'm psychoanalyzing and trying to break stuff down, but I'm usually pretty right. And if I'm not right, then I allow them to correct me. Okay, now another pivot, and then we'll get to the next scene. The way he does his teaching in this moment, not maybe the other moments, but in this moment, it's very much a cultural thing when it comes to Black and brown therapist individuals. It's through stories. People love stories. Motherfuckers weren't able to read back in the day, or were forced not to read back in the day, not to get educated in old times, slavery times. And so you see this illiteracy that's been held against a lot of folks, and stories were the way that we taught and the way our cultures were passed down from generation to generation. So when I tell folks like, hey man, you're probably going to want maybe a therapist of color because they're going to be better at navigating you through these stories instead of someone being like, what's your goals?
Yeah.
Okay. Like the kid told me the other day, she was like, I need a goal so I can win. I said, well, it's all on the journey. I just need you to grow. We ain't trying to win nothing, motherfucker. You got chronic pain. I don't think we win in this. This shit ain't going nowhere, honey. So teaching through stories, through humor, maybe, maybe not make the sexual jokes if you're doing therapy,
Oh,
probably not.
You're getting fucked mentally.
There you go. Jesus.
It's like, what the fuck?
The other day, I'm not going to repeat the full word, but you know me, sometimes I'll combine words and all the time, and they'll just come out, and I just keep going, and I move past it, so clients don't really ever see it, because I know that if I stay on it, it's embarrassing, or like they'll catch it. They just kind of keep going. But the other day, I stuttered like 5 times, and I kept saying the word pushy. I was trying to say push. Oh, almost said it. I don't want to say it. So and then that word came out and I was like, no. And the kid just looks at me and I look at them. I'm like, and then I try to say pushy again. And then the same bad word comes out. I'm like, no.
Then you tried doing like the sign for it and then you just like this. And you're like, no.
No. It was terrible. It was one of the most embarrassing moments. Thank God I've known the kid for like 3 years. And they're like, you're a fucking idiot. And I was like, don't look at me.
I know how dumb you are.
Don't look at me in my shame. I felt like a naked Schmeagle in that moment.
Schmeagle.
My precious.
Yeah.
My pussy.
Like just a sack of potatoes. All right, let's get into the last two scenes.
Fourth one, autism.
That's all you gotta say. Bro.
Autism. That's all I really need to explain it.
Kim.
Autism. You're at a bowling alley, and it just goes into a rant about Saint Nick and how his outfit was wrong. And of course, these townspeople just like, fuck, bro. I didn't need this.
I didn't need this. I didn't ask for this.
And they looked like they were about to whoop his ass.
Yeah.
Like, what you doing here, boy? Huh? No, we don't use the word over here. No. Even though they're in like Boston or some shit.
Shit.
They're in New England.
Boston racist as shit.
What? No.
Spence, for those of you that are listening on the podcast side, I want you to go back and watch that scene. I actually want all of you go and watch all the scenes.
Just rewatch them.
Yeah, watch the scenes. Let us get the views on YouTube. We need the views.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Shout out to the 100 of you that watch the podcast no matter what faithfully. Much appreciated, much love. So that stare is the stare when someone's just dialoguing and the other person's timed out. They're like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? If y'all let a neurospicy ever get that stare, please shut up. Please shut up.
I've definitely given that stem just like.
Spence does it to me on the podcast all the time. I'm like, that boy drooling. Whenever Spence gives me the Edgar from Men in Black look, I'm like, he's dead.
Edgar from Men in Black. Edgar?
More,
what the fuck is that?
More sugar water.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. More water. Sugar water.
Yeah, we're talking about ass enchiladas. Here we go.
Yeah, I just called Spencer Edgar from fucking Red and Black.
Yeah, you just called me a alien in a man's clothes.
A cockroach.
Skin.
A cockroach.
You literally called me a space cockroach in a person's skin.
You also gay.
Oh, well. Slay.
Funny scene, dude. Bro.
It is.
How many times have you gotten that look when you're just on your stick?
Oh, when I'm fucking talking about like Star Wars or Marvel and I'm just going into like the intricacies of different characters. Definitely through Dom. She's definitely giving me a look like, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
You giving her the history of a saber?
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? They actually grab their own crystals, and it's actually like this whole trial. So they have to, it's their crystals that choose them, not the, they don't choose the crystals. Crystals choose them. And it's just.
Student told me the other day, she said, my last boyfriend loves Star Wars. She's like, I'm glad I dumped his ass. I was like, Jesus.
Jeez.
I said, why? Because he would just talk about the most random shit that I didn't give a fuck about. I'm like, he was probably the nicest boy.
And let's be honest, she was probably also saying some shit that he didn't give a fuck about, but he acted like he did.
100%.
We all do. We all have this. We all have it to where it's like we all talk about shit that we're just like, I don't give a fuck, but hey, I love you, so I will give a fuck.
I love you, so I'm gonna listen to you. I'm not gonna look at you.
I can't repeat what you just said, but I like it.
I was here.
Yeah, I was there.
What did Marshawn Lynn said? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
There you go. That's your relationships in a nutshell. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Let's be real. That is definitely Colin's relationship. I'm just here. He doesn't hear shit that she says, bro. I like, bro, do you even pay attention to her? He's like, I haven't paid attention in like 3 years.
That seems like a lovely relationship. Not going to get into it. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Thank God she doesn't watch the show.
Well, this is going to be the one episode she watches.
I know. I've literally been planning the divorce.
I love this movie. Oh.
FYI, we've been planning the divorce for like a couple months now. So
Months, motherfucker. The first, as soon as you said "I do," you're like, "She's out of here."
I remember on the trip when the car almost rolled backwards on her, and he was like, "Fuck, almost."
Yeah. Almost had it.
I know.
Almost had
I looked at him. I said, "We almost got married, didn't we?"
it. This is about to be a fucking Netflix special with you.
100%.
Yeah. The dark love.
It was awesome going into the store. This is my baby. And I'm like, don't it look just like me? Little blonde hair, blue eyed white baby.
Yeah. Most Nazi baby you've ever seen.
I know. Hilarious. See, right here. A bunch of you probably tuned out because me and Spencer are just talking. Straight autism moment. Welcome. Sugar water. So this is a great example of how folks on the spectrum can just go on a tangent. And
Right.
sometimes you need to reel it in. I love his brain. I love how it works. I love the details, the history. It's ignanimous. Master Cephalophagus. It's Mastodonius.
It has an IOUS. We in the
So spectrumy, so autistic, this whole movie. Let's get into the last scene and then we can therapize this because it actually was like magnificent and a good representation of people suffering.
Yes. So in the last scene, we find out Angus's dad is going through or went through dementia, and he's kind of going through relaying the whole story and how his family kind of like broke up or like was torn apart by this illness. And it's a great scene. It's a great monologue of this young actor and how he's really relaying the pain of like what's happening and where he is now. What I love about Paul and Angus is that they're very similar. And then we, later on we find that out. Even though they're both kind of acting out in their own ways. Paul's acting out in a way of being way more strict and not allowing anything to kind of go by and really punishing his students for the most small things, right? And then we see Angus, who's kind of just acting out, just emotionally, just like you're just like, oh, he's just another teen, acting out. It's just how it goes. And then you find out there's just so much anguish happening at home. His mom is pretty much getting a new family and leaving him behind. Which is just like, wow, that mom's a piece of shit,
Yeah.
honestly. Because it's just like, oh, okay, so now you have a new husband, new whatever, new boyfriend, whatever, and then now you're just going to leave and, leave this kid to kind of fend for himself now instead. Because they were supposed to go on this huge trip, I think to Boston. I want to say, I think it was Boston or something like that. And they were supposed to go on a trip, but then mom canceled, and that's why he had to stay at the school.
Yep.
Because his mom canceled on him last minute, and yeah. So, like I said, great scene. But kind of like, what were your thoughts, and why'd you bring this to the table? Now,
Emotionally, this is the deepest, most emotional scene throughout the movie. Other than when the cook has a mental breakdown, like in the party, and she starts crying, and everyone goes to the room. He's like, "We got to get you out of here. Let's go." Those are the two heaviest scenes. He just got done seeing his dad in the psych ward. He's got some type of cognitive issue where he's like seeing and hearing shit and paranoid, and the dad's not there. He starts the conversation with the dad. He's like, "Oh man, maybe my dad's there." And then his dad kind of tanks. Like mentally just saying a bunch of disturbed stuff. And you just felt so bad for him. So you've seen a young man. I repeat the word young man because he's just a kid. That's dealing with a lot, that they had to watch his father deteriorate. that watch the mother move on, which is fine, but watch the mother move on so quickly that she doesn't even want to be around the boy because the boy's such a remembrance of the dad.
Mhm.
So not only did the kid lose his father to this mental illness, but also loses his mother.
Mm.
And so, of course, you're going to act up. Of course, you're going to be depressed. Of course, you're going to try and get attention and be a dumbass, smoke a little bit of weed, maybe drink like he does in the show. He's depressed as shit. And then he keeps getting kicked out of school. Now he's going to be shipped off to war. Then he's probably going to die in this war because everyone's dying in this war. So it's extremely sad to see him go through this. But now there's reasons. The past will show you your present. That was his past. His present is doom and gloom.
Mhm.
I've been there.
And then
So-
Paul kind of really acclimates the fact of like, just because your father is this way doesn't mean you're going to be this way as well.
But it's super scary if you think about it because, genetics,
Mhm.
and so now you have to think, well, because like even my grandpa had my dad's disease, right? The autoimmune disease that eats his muscles. My father's got it. Means me or Salim's going to get it.
Mhm.
I take more after my mom body wise, but I got a lot of my dad's stuff.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. So it makes you be real mindful of the good times that you have with your body.
Mhm.
And it's scary. It's really scary. So the young man is now crying because he's very vulnerable, very scared now because he's seeing his life may end in so horrific ways where no one loves him. He's worthless. And that's just soul crushing. So it's a soul crushing moment. So then your boy steps in.
Yep.
Turns on the full on love, compassion, empathy. He turns on the fucking mojo for this kid. As a therapist would, as a good therapist would. He's like, come on, kid, man. You're not going to be your dad. I know my father tried to beat me to thinking that I was going to be just like him, but I was better than him. I got educated. I got out of there. He's like, you make your own choices in life. All of you listening, you make your own choices in life. You don't have, it's not preordained what's going to happen because of the place you grew up at. You got a shot long as you're not dead. You need some luck your way, some money, some finances, meet some good people. I get all that, but you got a shot. Don't ever let someone tell you who you are. We just did an episode on My Hero Academia. Don't ever let someone tell you that your dreams ain't shit. Shoot for the sky. Shoot higher than the sky.
Yeah.
All you need is one person to believe in you. You can achieve some amazing things. A magnificent scene where he gasses him up, but then also he's like, you're an asshole and I fucking hate your guts and you give me a headache. I do the same shit with clients all the time. Think about it, Spence. It's a good manipulation tactic, but it's also true. If you're just saying nice things to people, they're going to think like it's all fake. You throw in a couple zingers, well, now you got them paying attention. You're like, I'm not being nice. I fucking hate you, but you got some good shit.
I hate the mole that's on your face right now. Hate it. Can't stand it.
Can't stand it.
Can't stand it. But you know what? You're a good kid.
You're a good kid. You're dumb as shit, but you got potential. There's something interesting the other day. I asked them, what would your friends say? I asked this to a lot of people in therapy. See, well, how would your friends introduce me to you? They would say, this is Tiffany. She's blank, blank, blank. This is Bobby, blank. This is Spencer. He's blank, blank, blank. What would they say? And everyone usually kind of struggles. They'd be like, oh, funny, kind, compassionate, good friends, weird, autistic. And the one kid says, blunt about the business. She says, cold. Whoa. It's like, okay. Come back the following week. They said Swifty. I was like, okay. I said, you still didn't say one fucking good thing. Fuck, I give a fuck about who you listening to or who you're like. I didn't ask you that. So what are they going to say about you as a person, as a human? And people struggle with that. It's a really good tactic to see how they view themselves. And then at the end of the session, that's when I throw the sauce on them. I start to gas them. I got to cook them up.
On that sauce, huh?
We're in there cooking.
That tartar sauce? Or
Flip it. Yep. Put the shit in it.
you flip it's all over.
Oh, I got that.
Don't say no.
Is it Mama Ali cooking?
Mom.
Let's just go past that one.
Yeah.
And so I like to give people the compliments, and then they say, "Well, thank you." I say, "You ain't got to thank you about shit. This is facts. I'm just telling you facts." I'm sorry. Oh, why are you sorry? Just shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Yeah, you very good.
Quit saying stuff, damn it. And see me acting, some people are going to be like, this is unethical because maybe the way I'm like saying the tone and all that stuff, but it's actually quite funny and it's very real and authentic. And my points are getting hammered home. I'm doing what I need to do, but just in my own authentic autistic way, my own Hispanic Arabic way, my own hood way. So as we wrap up here, shout out to all the individuals that are legit authentic, that are real, that are connected and vulnerable, that push people with not just bullshit fluffiness, that are, hold people accountable. You say something stupid, I'm going to tell you you're stupid. I'm also going to gas you up and tell you everything that you did good. And I'm going to give you a couple things to work on. Like my supervisor, don't ever say a goddamn thing good ever that I do. Well, you came 10 minutes late to that meeting. You didn't even show up to the fucking meeting. How you know I came 10 minutes late? You didn't even go.
Bitches. Just saying. I've been there.
So if you're going to be a supervisor, you're going to teach someone, give them the good stuff, and then just a couple seasonings of things to work on. Seasonings. I think that everyone thinks they're cool with me because, they'll just wait to drop the heavy stuff at the end. You ain't say nothing good. And then you drop all the heavy stuff at the end? Fuck you. Hey, Nas, we need to talk for a minute. Damn.
Uh-oh.
Nas, you swing by the office real quick? Damn.
Don't you also hate it when people say, like, hey, how you doing today? And then and then you're like, good. How are you? Good. I need to talk to you about something. I'm just like,
damn.
Why couldn't you open with that?
Hey.
Why couldn't you open with that?
So when
I'd rather have you open up with that.
When you go to the store with me or whatever with me, my dad hates it because it's super cringy. People like,
yeah.
How you doing today? Or like, what will they say? How you doing today? Yeah, they'll say, how you doing? And then I'll be like, good.
Find everything.
And then most of the time they're supposed to be like, yeah, how you doing? You good? You good? Or I won't say it back to no one. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Good.
Good. They'll be like, oh, good. Me too. I said, I didn't ask you.
I don't care.
When they say, oh, good. Me too. I'm like, I didn't ask you shit. I just kept walking. My dad's like, why do you do that to people? Fuck them.
Like an automated thing when you're in that retail business.
Yep.
Automated. Just, how are you doing? Good. All right.
And then it's normal for the other person to reciprocate that, but I never end up reciprocating it because I'm like on a warpath to go get my Cheetos.
Yeah. Crunchy or puffy?
Hot.
All right. That didn't answer that, but okay.
I like hot. I like my women hot and crunchy.
All right. With that.
Actually, wait a minute. I like them hot and puffy.
Like I'm crunchy.
Like a puffy.
What do they even mean? They have like arthritis. Like, what?
Go you tense. You real tense.
Girl, I can hear your bones click clacking from here.
Girl, where's Social Security check at?
Stand up again. I really want to hear your hip crack. There it is. All
right.
Anyways, thank you everybody for watching the show.
This is a weird one today.
Just a little bit, but hey, what are you gonna do? Go check out the Holdovers on Peacock.
Yeah,
great film. Won Academy Award. I mean, this year was so stacked with films. It's like it wasn't gonna win Oscars and stuff. It just wasn't. Oppenheimer's just beat everybody pretty much. But yeah, go check it out. It's actually a really great
It
film.
is.
And then please go to betterhelp.com/DSP if you want to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Maybe going through some things and hey, want to try BetterHelp, get it with 10% off using our code.
Yep.
And yeah, and go find your therapist that kind of fits you. Also, go check out our line, Be a Man, our Be a Man collection.
It's awesome.
Hot off the presses. Go check it out. We have Cry, Love, Talk, and Be Different.
Yep.
Go check it out. And there'll be plenty more coming. And if you have any ideas on what products we should be putting out there, if you want like a women's hoodie or anything like that, a hat or like a beanie, anything like that, just let us
Bustier.
know. I don't think they make those, but you know what? We can try.
I need support.
Be a man and take this bra off.
Be a man, put it on. I said it.
Anyways, I'm Spencer. That's Nas, Different Special Podcast.
All right, everyone. As always, much respect, much love, and remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you, homie. Peace. Sugar water.